It's time for another edition of Sweet 16, our weekly conversation with Sky Sox manager Rick Sweet as we come your way from Nashville. And Sweetie, you know it's been a long road trip when this already is our second conversation on the same trip.
Yeah, I never thought about that, but it's been a long road trip. It's been an interesting, productive road trip. Actually, it's been okay. You know, we probably should have won 2 or 3 more games, but overall, it's been a pretty good road trip.
Well, a good one for you last night. You guys pulled that thing out against the Sounds 4-3. Come from behind in doing so. Got some good pitching from the bullpen. Your thoughts on that game last night?
Well, it was a good ball game. I thought offensively we obviously had quite a few more chances to score runs, but we did come up with some big base hits. Our defense was outstanding. Herrera in right field was the player of the game. There's no doubt about that. And pitching-wise, not as sharp. Burgos was not as sharp as he was last time, but the bullpen definitely stepped up, picked us up, and it was a good ball. It was a fun ball game. We've had a lot of games on this road trip. You throw wins and losses out. We've had a lot of fun games on this road trip, close games, tight games, and it makes it a lot more fun when you have that.
Well, you bring up Elian Herrera, and boy, what a game he did have defensively there in right field. He saved you 3 runs defensively. This guy proving to be so valuable for a ball club, the way he can play so many different positions. He's a switch hitter, and he's except for last night, he's hitting consistently game in and game out. Give us your take on this guy.
Well, he's the perfect type of National League ball player you like to have. He's a 24th, 25th guy. And what that means is he's not the worst player on the team. He's very valuable on the team because of his versatility. As a manager, you love to have that guy, and something we haven't had to use him as. He's our third catcher. I could probably put him on the mound if I had to, but I've got 2 other guys that fill that role. But in the National League, you got to have those type of people, and he is the perfect fit for that type of guy. That's why the National League is so much more fun and interesting than the American League as far as the type of personnel you have to have.
Robinson Diaz continues to roll at the plate. He had 3 more hits for you last night, and he hasn't slowed down since he began to hit at the beginning of the year. So are you at all surprised at what he's been able to do at the plate?
Well, if you look at Robbie, 2 years ago he was a pretty good player. Last year he really struggled. We actually let him go last year. He was my third catcher last year. We brought him back in spring training this year, and it's the same thing. He came back, but he's the type of player he was 2 or 3 years ago. That's the interesting part. But he's doing the things we've asked him to do. He's not, I want to play every day. He just takes what we give him. When we give it to him, he's ready to play and ready to go, and he's done a great job for us.
Ariel Pena picks up the win for you guys out of the bullpen last night. Here's a guy who's making the transition to the bullpen from the starting rotation for the first time in his career. How would you say, the numbers look good, but how would you say that's going for him?
Well, it's gone very well. It's gone inconsistent. And I think, part of the problem that Pena ran into was the air in Colorado Springs. Moving him from starter to reliever was okay. He could handle, I think, that much. But he's definitely, for me, done a better job on the road. His breaking ball, on this road trip, his breaking ball has been very good. And he has struggled to get that feel for it at the high altitude. And it's put a lot of stress on him, a lot more stress than maybe we needed on him. But he's done a great job. This road trip, he really has thrown some good pitches and had some good outings.
Manager Rick Sweet, my guest here on Sky Sox Warmup from Nashville. Another save for Chapman. This guy is an incredible story, overcoming double hip surgery from a couple of years ago, and he's back on the horse here and getting the job done. Talk about what he's been able to accomplish here.
Well, the first day I saw him, I kind of went, whoa, I like this guy. And what I liked about him was his makeup, was his mound presence, things that most people don't look at. He's a bulldog. He gets the ball on the mound, and he's not that long-haired, happy-go-lucky surfer type of guy that you look at him when you see him out here in the clubhouse. He took the ball. He made quality pitches. He challenges hitters. He's got that special makeup that an end of the game type of pitcher has. That closer, that setup guy. He's not overpowering, but he's got pitches that he can use, and he's not afraid to use them. I've been very impressed. In fact, Gord Ash is here, and Gord saw him again last night, and he goes, "That guy's growing on me. I like him."
Well, a ton of transactions here today for your ball club. First off, Tyler Cravey and David Goforth get the call to go to the big leagues to join the Brewers. You get Jason Rogers and Corey Knebel back down. Rick, how do those moves impact your ball club?
Well, I think it gives us obviously a very big offensive, help in Rogers. He can flat out hit. He needs to get some more at bats. Knebel has gone up there and done an excellent job, but he wasn't getting enough innings, and they, he's a short inning guy, and they needed somebody to give him more innings. That's why Cravey and Goforth both went up. They can give them those extra innings. Some of these moves may not last long. They may make some other moves to work with this. But for right now, Jason Rogers will play almost every day somewhere, get his at-bats, get him some pinch hits. But we need to get his swing really tuned up again so that he can go back. And Knebel will pitch at the end of the game. He'll throw in the 8th or the 9th inning and be a one-inning type guy.
You also get the services of right-hander Austin Ross up from Double-A Biloxi. What can you tell us about him?
Well, I saw him a little bit in spring training, not a lot. He's been an end of the game for them, but he's a multiple inning guy. He's a strong horse type pitcher. He can throw 2 innings. He'll be 2 used probably in the 7th, 8th, 9th, around in that area. He'll definitely be in the mix. He was their a guy that closed a lot of games for him in Biloxi, and he'll go into that same thing here as far as at the end. And he's got a good arm. Well, it'll be fun to see how he does at this level.
Juan Centeno activated off the disabled list. That gives you 3 catchers once again. You have already 2 hot-hitting catchers. You're going to be facing some National League teams coming up here. How do you manage all of that?
That's just part of the game. Getting Jason back, what it's going to do is going to cut down on some time for some of these guys. But with our schedule, playing every day, we go home, we play 9 days in a row. These guys don't need to play, 6, 7, 8 days in a row. So you'll see a different lineup every night. I'll try to start the right-handers against left-handed pitchers and the left-handers against right-handed pitchers. But you won't see most of these guys sit more than 1 day. You won't see them sit 2 days in a row very often. They'll get a little time off. That'll make them stronger, make them better. And it's just my job to make sure I keep track of it, which, as you know, I got my paperwork. I keep track of who plays, how many at-bats, how many innings, and positions, because I've got to move some of these guys around. So it'll be a tricky mix, but I've handled it before, and I'll do it again.
Just a few times. Finally, Pete Orr gets the news that he's getting the opportunity to play in the Pan Am Games for his home country there in Canada. How does he feel about taking part in this international competition?
Well, we've actually known this for 2-3 weeks. They've started letting people know, and we had this planned. I played him last night because he had the stiff neck, as you know, for a while and missed 4 or 5 games there. Got him some at-bats yesterday, got a big base hit for us, played solid defense, which he always does, and then we took him off the roster and activated Centeno. He'll be gone probably about 2.5, 3 weeks, and then he'll be back and be right back on the ball club. But, it's exciting. You get to represent your country. You get to go play against other countries' best players. Pete's done this before. He played in the Olympics before for his country, and it's fun to represent your country, and I'm very happy and excited for him.
Okay, Skip. Well, one more to go on the road trip. What do you say we get one tonight here?
We might as well win one more and then go home for that last 9 games, and we're looking forward to it. It would be nice to get back home, too.
That is Rick Sweet, Sky Sox manager. More to come from Nashville on Sky Sox Warmup right after this.